Good afternoon, everybody. We're back here at Falcon Park for a matchup between the Auburn Doubledays and the Niagara Falls Americans. I'm Ryan Story alongside Luke Backman, the voices of the Auburn Doubledays, as we prepare for a rematch between Auburn and Niagara Falls after they went yesterday head-to-head. Auburn winning that one 11-5. Luke, what can the Doubledays look for in this game to repeat that same result?
One thing that the Doubledays did really well in the game yesterday is good at bats. Only struck out 4 times in the game and only left 7 runners on base. Vastly different than some games earlier in this week where they struck out in double-digit numbers. Also left really 15 runners on base, so they were able to clean up some of those mistakes from prior games this week. If they're able to continue to do that, then they'll be able to rack up wins like they were last night.
Yeah, the Doubledays certainly didn't play flawlessly yesterday. Still 3 errors, and we talk about those avoidable mistakes all the time. We saw it in the last home game that the Doubledays played on Wednesday, where it was their first home loss of the season because of a lot of mistakes that just didn't need to be made. The Doubledays, if they can clean it up even more, they can look to not even let Niagara Falls get 5 runs across. This time, they can maybe hold them to a lower 2-3 amount. Obviously, you don't have pitcher Brendan Heilman out there who through 6 innings of one hit ball in that matchup. You have instead Hunter Lefkis, who maybe doesn't have that same repertoire of pitches, but still, Auburn Doubleday's defense can look to step up even a bit more in this contest.
100%. We mentioned that game on Wednesday. If you're the Doubledays, you were looking at that game saying, hey, we beat ourselves. 3 errors in that game. Multiple times they were thrown out on the base paths. Those are mistakes that you can control yourself. You can control the controllables. And for Auburn, if they're able to do that, they're a good enough ball club where they can beat any team in this league as long as they don't beat themselves while doing so. So good job cleaning up some of the mistakes. Still room to grow. If they're able to clean everything up, this is going to be a very tough team to beat here tonight and throughout the rest of the season.
As I mentioned earlier, it's Hunter Lefkis taking the mound for the Auburn Doubledays. He's going to be kicking things off against Grant Moore of the Niagara Falls Americans, the leadoff batter for the American squad. Moore has had a great season so far. In the first week of the season, he was named Player of the Week in the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, batting .480 on the campaign. The center fielder out of Mount Vernon Nazarene. He gets ahead early on, 1-1 in the count. Moore, one of the best batters on the squad and a very fast player. That's why he takes that leadoff spot. That one fouled off, 1-2 count.
For Lefkis, you got to feel he's been ready to get back on the mound. Through on June 8th, only went 3 1/3, gave up 8 hits, 5 runs in that game. He wants to get back on the mound and compete and bounce back after that performance, I'm sure.
He started off relatively strong here, 2-2 count against Moore. Following Moore will be Evan Core and Graydon Miller. Other batters who have proven their worth at the plate this season. Core coming up next has a .545 batting average, as that one's grounded right back to Lefkis, who will throw it over to first baseman. That's Fishbein, Max Fishbein, over at first to get the first out of the night. Evan Core stepping up to the plate for the Niagara Falls Americans.
That's something we didn't see Wednesday night. A lot of first batter in the inning out. A lot of time in that game on Wednesday. Doubledays walked the first batter in the lineup to start an inning, so good job here by Lefkis getting the first guy out. It's simple things, but they go a long way in this game.
When you throw pitches over the middle, it at least gives your defense the chance to step up. If you're a pitcher just out there walking guys left and right, it doesn't matter how good the defense does if they're getting on base no matter what.
100%.
1-1 count early on. We've seen Lefkis be fairly efficient with his pitches so far, throwing them over the plate. Hasn't really thrown too many heaters, kind of feeling out his batters. That one in there for strike 2. Great pitch there from Lefkis.
Lefkis freezing the hitters right now for the Americans. 3 of his 4 strikes have all been called looking. Americans haven't been able to find him so far on the mound.
That pitch is in and high for ball 2. Seen him hovering mid-70s on his breaking balls, around low to mid 80s on his fastball. Lefkis, not someone who beats you with his speed. He's a very precise player. As I mentioned, feels around what the batter's weaknesses are, as that one fouled off. Of course, staying alive in this at-bat. It's the same for the batters, too, as much as Lefkis is trying to feel out where Core's weaknesses are. Core is just staying alive, waiting for that right pitch. Someone who bats over 500 on the campaign is going to be a very patient hitter and wait for the pitch that suits him. That one narrowly misses the plate for ball 3. It's a full count.
Even though we missed on that pitch, that was a really good pitch from Lefkis. I really liked it. Great take by Core. And now sets up a 3-2 payoff pitch here early in this game.
When you're ahead in the count, then you can always make the umpire make that 50-50 decision. That one not quite, as that one's way inside for ball 4. That is a walk, something that we looked at the Doubledays to avoid early on here. Not going to be the case, as Core will take his base. Graydon Miller, the 3-hole batter, stepping up to the plate. Miller batting .267 on the season out of Drury University. The first pitch comes in, and that's going to clip Miller. He'll take his base, and not a strong start for Lefkis here. Did a good job against Grant Moore, the first batter of the night, but Core and Miller both taking bases for free, bringing up Paul Delanto with 2 runners on base, first and second. Still just 1 out on the board.
And not something we want to see after getting the first out. Time for Lefkis to hunker down here. Battle with runners on first and second early in this ball game.
Delanto yesterday went 0 for 3 in that contest. That one's hit deep into shallow right field and will be caught. Nobody will tag. The great play there by Bobby Hardy in right field to freeze Core at second and make it a 2-out inning with still 2 runners on base.
That's huge for Lefkis. First pitch swinging was Delanto. Went the other way to right field. Good job, Hardy, out there in right field making the play, and runners not advancing, not tagging, so you're still first and second here with 2 outs. Really good chance to try and get out of this inning.
It's now Ian Huang up to bat for the Niagara Falls Americans. Huang out of Niagara University, staying local for the Americans. Batting over 400 on the season. That pitch comes in and gets the strike zone, just clips that outside part of the plate for strike 1. 82 miles per hour there on the fastball from Lefkis.
Want to say that might have been his fastest pitch so far tonight.
Certainly up there. Lefkis looking to get out of a somewhat rocky inning with 0 runs given up, which would be an accomplishment, as that one gets a little bit too far outside for ball 1. Lefkis going deep into the bag there, arguably his slowest pitch of the night, just 73 miles per hour on that curve.
I like the mix, fastest, slowest, keep the hitter guessing right now at the plate.
That one blazed right by the batter Huang for strike 2. Really switching things up here.
He's just showing off right now, it feels like, going to whatever he wants. He feels confident on the mound. Now 2 strikes. Let's see if he can get out of this inning.
We'll see if he goes to that slower breaking ball or tries to blaze by another fastball. Looking back at Core over at second, and that one swung on and missed for strike 3. That'll send the Doubledays into the bottom of the first without giving up a single run. Auburn 0, Niagara Falls 0. We'll be back shortly in the bottom of the first inning. The Niagara Falls Americans coming up on the mound. We see Keegan Bazinet pitching for the Americans, the righty out of SUNY Niagara with just a 2.7 ERA on the campaign. For the Doubledays, got some strong batters to start things off. Tyler Vivacqua as the leadoff batter with Josh Thompson and Adam Sullivan following up Vivacqua. Doubledays have started off strong recently, getting good first innings, but they still had 0 runs in that first inning against Niagara Falls yesterday. As that one grounded over to the third baseman Bowles for the first out of the night. 90 miles per hour there on the pitch from Bazinet, who can certainly flash his speed a bit more than we've seen from Lefkis early on in this contest.
Bazinet, this will be his 3rd appearance this year, 2nd games he has started. His last start was on the 8th, where he went 5 2/3, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, only 2 of them being earned with a walk and 4 strikeouts. So he definitely has quality stuff here on the mound starting the game for the Americans.
See how the Doubledays react to his speed on the mound. As that one 91 miles per hour in there for ball 1. One out on the board. Josh Thompson up to bat. Adam Sullivan following him up. That one catches the outside part of the plate for strike 1.
Feels like this might be the fastest pitching starter the Doubledays have seen at home this year.
Certainly the most consistently fast, as we've seen all of his pitches this inning 90 miles per hour. That one just 76 miles per hour, but grounded over to second base. Ian Huang throwing it over to Miller for the second out of the inning.
Quickly, 2 ground outs to start this game. See how the Doubledays adjust facing a pitcher throwing 90-plus miles per hour consistently, as we mentioned. Went to the off speed on that last pitch, so we'll see how they're able to deal with it throughout the game.
I will say, making contact, not a terrible side against a different type of pitcher that you faced recently. Just get that contact, the hits will start to fill in later. It's the first pitch in there for strike 1. Second pitch way outside for ball 1.
Sullivan last night had a successful game, 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs against the Americans. Looking to match that again here tonight.
I call Sullivan the RBI king because it just seems that he does it in every game. When the Doubledays are doing good, it's because Sullivan racks up those RBIs as he falls behind in the count 1-2.
Such a pleasure and treat for a manager to pencil Sullivan.
Although that one in there for strike 3 ends the inning for the Auburn Doubledays as they go down 1-2-3. 3 batters, 3 outs for Keegan Bazinet on the mound for the Americans. We'll be back in the top of the second with 3 batters coming up. That's Chris Gazaldo, Jay Collins, and Brady Bowles for Niagara Falls. Stay tuned for more Auburn Doubledays baseball. Kicking things off for the Niagara Falls Americans, it'll be Chris Gazaldo, the shortstop out of Panola College. A lot of Panola guys for the Americans. 3 of the next 4 batters will be from that school. Gazaldo batting over 360 on the campaign. That first pitch will be a strike. 75 miles per hour there on the breaking ball from Lefkis. That pitch will narrowly miss the zone, 1-1 count.
Both pitchers working quickly and efficiently so far in this game, throwing a lot of strikes, not taking much time to do so.
Bazinet even more efficient in that first inning, going 1-2-3 against the Auburn Doubledays top of the lineup. Meanwhile, we saw Lefkis get in a little bit of trouble last inning, but he did what certain Doubledays pitchers haven't been able to do in the past and get out of it with ease. That one in there for strike two. 2 balls, 2 strikes on the count.
Yeah, Lefkis made some good pitches to get out of that top of the first, especially on that strikeout to end the inning.
A fantastic strikeout where he was just able to piece what needed to be made and what pitches needed to be thrown, and he threw the perfect pitch to just catch Wang swinging. Chris Gazaldo with a full count here, and that one catches the inside part of the plate. That's going to be the second straight strikeout for Hunter Lefkis, bringing up Jake Hollins, the right fielder, who's batting .294 on the campaign.
Lefkis absolutely froze Guzaldo right there, and Guzaldo knew it. He knew that was strike three, immediately started walking to the dugout, didn't say, oh, that's ball four. Lefkis, what an off-speed pitch there to get strike number three.
Just really feeling out the batters and doing what he needs to do to get through this tough order that they'll be seeing. This Niagara Falls team was undefeated heading into that game yesterday against the Doubledays. 6-0 prior to that contest. The Doubledays handed them their first loss of the season, looking to make it 2 in a row as they count 1-1.
Great accomplishment, obviously, ending the undefeated streak. But if you're able to get 2 against these Americans, you got to feel really good here in the start of the season.
Especially against a conference opponent, a divisional opponent, who you'll be seeing a bunch throughout the season. Having that strong start against them just sows doubt into the minds of the Americans that maybe Auburn is a better team than them. That one fouled off for the second strike of the at-bat.
You know, this game's a lot physically, but it's a good amount mentally too. And like you said, if you could just create that doubt in the Americans' mind, like, geez, we just can't find a way to beat these guys, aka the Doubledays, that can pay dividends down the road.
We saw Heilman really took advantage of the mindset. There's that one going to be bobbled and in there in time from Vasquez. The throw there from Alex Vasquez catches Jake Hollins at first base. He bobbled it at first. You have normal shortstop Adam Sullivan out there in center field today. So Vasquez stepping in there and still able to make the play despite the original slip up.
Feels like the first base umpire kind of did a quick pump fake, looked like he was going to call him safe, then hit us with the out call for the second out of this inning.
That was a coin flip of a call. Could have really gone either way, but you saw right after it happened, Hollins knew he didn't get there in time. Thought he had a chance there with Vasquez bobbling what should have been a routine play, but still displaying that arm strength that was needed to get the throw there in time. 1-1 count on the board, 2 outs. Lefkis looking to make this a bit cleaner of an inning than that first one. That one misses the plate to load up, or sorry, not load up the count, 3-1 count, 2-1 count. Lefkis has done a good job this game of feeling out the batters. This count 2-1. That pitch comes in way high and inside. 3-1 count as Lefkis falls behind early.
One thing about Lefkis, even in that game where he pitched a few days ago, only pitched 3 1/3, he had 5 strikeouts, so he can make batters swing and miss or take a pitch looking like he does right there to bring the count full.
A great pitch that kind of caught Bulls off balance. Wasn't really expecting that pitch, just muscled it by him. Full count, big pitch here, and he'll be grounded to Vasquez. He throws it over and gets there in time. Fishbein puts out Bulls for the final out of the inning. A much cleaner inning there for Lefkis as he puts down the Americans 1-2-3. We'll be back in the bottom of the second for more Auburn Doubledays baseball. The Doubledays enter the bottom of the second, still in a tied 0-0 ball game. Coming up will be Parker Schwake, the designated hitter, after the Doubledays went down 1-2-3 in the top of the first, or in the bottom of the first, excuse me. Still Keegan Bazinet on the mound for the Americans. Is that one going to be the first hit of the game for the Auburn Doubledays? Parker Schwake rakes one into shallow left field for the first hit. First hit for either team. Schwake displaying his ability to sit and pounce on the perfect pitch. Schwake didn't play yesterday and instantly making his presence felt in this contest. Now Max Fishbein coming up to the plate for the Doubledays.
Good job by Schwake right there. He wasn't waiting. First pitch he saw, he knew he wanted it, took a swing.
And that bat nearly goes further than Schwake's hit did. All the way into the stands. Fans, keep your heads up this game. We have a promotion where if you catch a foul ball, you get to get a hot dog for free. If you catch a bat, what is it, like a free cheeseburger?
It's got to be something. I mean, wow, that I was wondering. I was like, is that going to make it over the net? Excuse me. That cleared the net with no issue. Good thing fans were able to keep their heads up, get out the way, and no one was hit or injured. But wow, you turn in a bet. You got to get something for that. That's
at the very minimum. You know, it's the same shape as a hot dog, more or less, so give them a free hot dog. They deserve it.
A hot dog and a Hershey. There we go.
There it goes. As Fishbein still up to bat for the Doubledays. 0-1 count. That one bit too low there in the dirt for ball one. 78 miles per hour there on the pitch from Bazinet, who's shown he can change things up over a 12-13 mile per hour difference from his top speed compared to his bottom speed. As that one blazed there, 87 miles per hour, fouled off behind him. 1-2 count, no outs on the board.
The new guys had themselves a game last night. Fishbein, Vasquez, and Harde. 5 RBIs combined between the three of them last night. See if they can have the same continued success.
All three of them from Denison Universities. That one's grounded to the shortstop and thrown over to first base. Gizaldo connecting with Miller for the first out of the inning. Smart play there from the veteran shortstop Gizaldo to not try to force the fielder's choice, not try to get Schwake out at second, but instead make the smart play, get the safe out, and that brings Tommy Kerwin up to bat for the Auburn Doubledays. Kerwin, despite being a young guy, one of the most efficient and prolific hitters on this Doubledays squad. Freshman going to Wofford College next year. That pitch outside for ball one. One out on the board with one runner in scoring position. Kerwin followed up by G. Martino, both Wofford College guys coming out of high school where they went locals. That one hit into the left field. That's Mathey throwing it in and freezing Schwake at third base. Not going to let him score a run, but the Doubledays now have runners on the corner with just one out on the board.
Doubledays cooking so far in this second inning. Good job. We talked about it in that first inning, how they were going to react. Obviously, Bazinet throwing 90 miles per hour. They were putting some contact on the ball in the first inning. You even mentioned, hey, just to get contact on the ball, it'll come through later in the game. This part of the order, they're finding contact and finding holes in the defense.
That one high for ball one. This is a big at-bat for the Doubledays. Wouldn't surprise me to see Kerwin try to take second base here to bring the double play out of the equation. As that pitch thrown over from Bazinet. Going to try the pickoff attempt, not going to get there in time, to no avail. Gimartino, a power bat for the Doubledays, missed the game yesterday at an all-CNY photo shoot for high school sports. As that one grounded over to the first baseman, Miller to Gizaldo for the final 2 outs of the inning. And we mentioned they might try to send Kerwin over to second to avoid the double play, and it was a weird one. It wasn't your normal 4-6-3 double play or something simple like that. It was from the first baseman over to the shortstop, but it did get there in time. So the Doubledays still with just a 0-0 ball game after some missed opportunities there. We'll see how they'll bounce back at the top of the third inning. Stay tuned for more. We're back here in the top of the third inning as the Doubledays reeling from a missed opportunity in the bottom of the second. Had two runners on base with just one out. In an unfortunate double play, Auburn looking to bounce back here in the top of the third. Still 0 hits for the Niagara Falls Americans, and that changes there. An error by Vasquez, who hasn't had the cleanest of games over at short. Nearly had an error in the first inning on a throw over to Fishbein, and there he does have an error. Might have been a hit anyways, but just bobbles it and doesn't even make a play over at first. That brings up Jack Satinoff with no outs on the board, one runner on base.
Yeah, try to go bare hand there. It would have been a close play, but I thought he might have been able to glove it on the run, but we'll see how Leftis is able to bounce back after that.
Tommy Mathey, that was his first hit of the season. Hadn't had one prior to that. The rookie out of Panola College. Satinoff out of Trevecca Nazarene, batting .500 on the campaign for the Americans. That pitch comes in and narrowly misses the strike zone for the second ball of the at-bat as we hit 7 o'clock, 30 minutes into this game.
As we were doing our pregame prep, we saw Satinoff. High school played a lot of instruments. I believe the trombone was one of them. That pitch in there for a strike.
Yeah, some guys are three-sport athletes. Satinoff was a three-instrument musician.
Did you ever play any instruments?
I was in the drums a little bit when I was like 4th, 5th, 6th grade, but chose to keep my focus to sports instead. As that one catches the outside part of the plate for strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. What about you, Luke? Any instruments for you?
No instruments for me, but I was in the choir all the way through high school, you know.
Using your voice, some singing, some commentating, it seems. As that one catches the plate for strike 3, the third K of the game for Hunter Lefkis, as he's starting to gain some momentum here after taking down the Americans 1-2-3 in the second, striking out the second batter he's seen here in the third inning.
Lefkis just left Satinoff frozen there at the plate. Second time that's happened in this game. Lefkis really fooling the hitters of the Americans.
As that first pitch is in there for a strike. The lineup flipping back around to the top with Grant Moore in his second at-bat of the night, grounded out in the top of the first inning. That one swung on and whiffed A big swing there from Moore, but not going to catch any part of the ball as he falls behind early, 0-2.
This is where you like to see Lefkis and really any Doubledays pitcher working ahead in counts quickly. 0-2. Now Lefkis, if he wants, he has a couple pitches to play around with, or he can just go right ahead and attack more. Lefkis has had success, so I wouldn't be surprised if he just tries to attack more, not waste any pitches.
Yeah, he's certainly a player who knows how to throw strikes that confuse the batters. As that one swung on, missed strikeout, but it will be a stolen base. That is Tommy Mathey taking second. Great play from Mathey. Heads up play to realize that probably wasn't going to be a hit from Grant Moore, who fell behind early in that count. A great pitch there from Lefkis, but the Americans still have a runner in scoring position now. 2 outs on the board as that brings up Evan Core, who walked in his first at-bat. That one grounded over and gets past the pitcher, and a great play there from Tommy Kerwin over at second, making up for Lefkis's fielding woes and throwing it over to Max Fishbein for the final out of the inning. So we've seen Lefkis do a good job so far getting out of any danger he's put himself in. We'll see if that continues, but first we have the Doubledays coming back up to the plate. Alex Vasquez, Sam Meyer, Bobby Hardy coming up in the bottom of the third inning. The Doubledays back here in the bottom of the third inning. It's going to be Alex Vasquez looking to finally do some damage to this American squad, who managed to get out of some tough pressure from the Doubledays in the second inning. Runners on the corners, first and third, with just one out, and Niagara Falls was able to get out of that danger. Some woes that you just can't have if you're the Doubledays. You need to capitalize on your runs against a good team like the Americans.
Yeah, for the Doubledays, they're going to hope that that doesn't come back to bite them later in the games. That one swung on and fouled out of the stadium to make the count 0-2 now. But even last night, the blowout, you don't expect that every night with the Americans. This is a very good ball club, 6-0 going into the game last night, as we mentioned before. You're going to need all the runs you can get, and that was a missed opportunity last inning.
It was, as that one in there for strike three. That's the second K of the game for pitcher Keegan Bazinet. Great pitch there to just get one past Vasquez. Brings up Sam Meyer, the left fielder. As you mentioned, this is a very good Americans team and very scrappy too. Despite it being a blowout, they still put together 5 runs in the 9th inning. So despite anything you might say about how they performed early on in that game, they've showed that they have grit and they have that ability to fight through close games.
Yeah, they know they're going into the bottom of the 9th down 11-0. They could have easily mailed it in 1-2-3, but they're going to continue to compete throughout the entire game. That's what it showed last night.
That one popped up, the catcher losing it, and instead it's the first baseman Miller coming down with the second out of the inning. That was catcher Delanto looking for it in the air, couldn't find it, but then Paul Delanto ended up not needing to make the play because it was Graydon Miller coming up underneath it for the second out of the inning. That brings up Bobby Hardy, the final batter in the Doubledays order. after Sam Meyer popped that one up. A great start here from Keegan Bassinet, who has the chance to get out of the first 3 innings, only seeing each batter once. That one comes in and catches the strike zone. Look, maybe I couldn't really tell how that was a strike, but it was. So it's a 1-1 count. Looked like Hardy wasn't that happy with the call. That one swung on and missed from Hardy. A big chop there, just couldn't find contact. Just 80 miles per hour there on the pitch from Bassinet. You can tell his off-speed pitch is having an effect on the Doubledays, as Hardy took a big swing there just a bit too early on that pitch. So that one high for ball 2.
Hardy 2 for 2 last night with 2 RBIs, came around to score 3 times, also walked in the game last night. So overall successful night against the Americans. Count 2-2 here.
And that one going to be hit over to third. That's Bowles throwing it and getting past the first baseman in Miller. Hardy's going to take second in a key error there that's going to put a Doubledays player in scoring position as the top of the lineup comes up. Tyler Vivacqua coming up with 2 outs on the board and a runner on second. A crucial error there by Graydon Miller. Bowles and Miller couldn't connect in what would have ended the inning. And the Doubledays, a sign of life, breath of fresh air. Vivacqua, a great batter and someone that you trust despite his young age with someone in scoring position.
We talked about the Doubledays needing to clean up their mistakes. Now on the offensive side of the ball, they need to capitalize on the mistakes from the Americans. It looked like it was going to be a 1-2-3 inning. Now runner on scoring position with the top of the lineup. Need to take advantage here.
That first pitch outside for ball 1. Hardy having a really good string of games. We saw him in his first appearance for the Doubledays on Wednesday when he just came in as a pinch hitter. But as you mentioned yesterday, at the plate, having a great day. Even putting a ball that, probably would have been a routine ground out if the throw was made over, but at least making it somewhat difficult, making it close in the air. We saw his hustle there. If he kind of loafs that one out, walks over lazily, then the throw's just going to be made simply, and you're not going to see Miller worry about that catch. But his hustle made it a tough play at the plate, and that's where the error gets forced. That one swung on foul directly behind Tyler Vivacqua.
Hey, if you put the ball in play, good things are going to eventually happen. You talked about it looked like a routine 5-3 ground out there, but just putting the ball in play. And this is why limiting the strikeouts is huge. Put the pressure on the defense to make a perfect play every single time. That time the Americans were not able to, and now you have a runner on second.
Pitcher Keegan Bassinet has a tendency to strike out batters. He's very good at it. And the fact that the Doubledays only struck out twice so far, that's a good sign. They're putting the ball in play, making contact. And as you mentioned, eventually that contact will turn into hits.
100%. They were able to find some holes in the second inning, not as many here in the third, but again, just put the ball in play.
That one way outside for the 4th ball of the at-bat. Vivacqua will take his base, putting runners on first and second with Josh Thompson stepping up to the plate. The Doubledays just last inning left a runner on base in scoring position. Can't do it again here. You've got 2 runners on. Need to get a run across, establish your dominance early against this Niagara squad.
Another guy you feel comfortable having at the plate in this situation, Josh Thompson, been able to get nice clutch hits throughout the early part of the season. Looking for another one here. First pitch low for ball 1.
Thompson, a veteran out of Siena College. And we talk about it all the time. There's a reason he's consistently in this 2 slot, and it's because his veteran experience base running. Vivacqua was faster than him, but Thompson's a significantly better base runner. That one chopped, and that'll be there for a single into shallow left field. All 3 of the Doubledays hits this game over to left field. We see it all the time with this Doubleday squad. That's their bread and butter. Those shallow singles into left. That'll load the bases, bringing up the RBI king Adam Sullivan with the chance to add to his total on the campaign. 3 runners on, 2 outs on the board. Big spot here. Sullivan going against Bassinet.
Got to give some props to the shortstop Guzaldo. If he doesn't get to that ball, that's a run scoring for the Doubledays. So he prevented a run. Obviously, here with Adam Sullivan up, you're hoping for a run for the Doubledays, but way to cut that ball off.
And that's left field again. Shallow left on the hit from Sullivan. One runner scored, another runner going. Oh, not even going to be close. Wow, just an easy throw. That was Mathey throwing it to Delanto, tagging out the base runner in Vivacqua. But a little bit of greediness from the Doubledays, for sure, but a runner does score. Auburn will take their 1-0 lead into the top of the fourth inning. Stay tuned for more Auburn Doubledays baseball. We just saw the kids round the bases for the Auburn Doubledays, and we saw the Doubledays round the bases themselves. They scored their first run of the game in the bottom of the third inning. Now we're here in the top of the fourth as the Doubledays lead 1-0. It's Graydon Miller stepping up to bat for the Niagara Falls Americans. He was hit by a pitch in his first at-bat. That one misses the strike zone for ball one.
Good job by the Doubledays getting on the board first. It's key to really any game they play. Not trying to play from behind tonight, able to get on the board first. Wanted more than one, but you'll take one in this opportunity against this tough team.
That one in there for strike one. And yeah, just getting those early runs are huge. We saw it in that game yesterday. Auburn scored 5 runs. Oh my God, that one's crushed into deep left field. But that's Meyer getting underneath it for the first out of the inning. As we were talking about in the game yesterday, we saw the Auburn Doubleday score 5 runs in the top of the second inning, and that kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. Niagara Falls was playing from behind throughout that contest. Auburn trying to establish that same tone here early on in this one. That pitch in there for strike one.
And what it does also is it gives your starting pitcher all the more confidence. Yesterday, it was Brennan Heilman, who went 6 shutout innings. Now Lefkis, that one's going to miss for a ball. He's gone 3 shutout innings, looking very good throughout the first 3 innings. Even with a 1-run lead, it's a lead for a pitcher. That makes him feel all the more confident on the mound.
And Lefkis doing so without the best fielding so far this game. We've seen plays like the one over to Vasquez at short that could have been made and weren't. So a great job by Lefkis to strike out batters left and right, do the damage himself rather than leaving it up to the Americans to see what they can do. Gotta love the drip that we see from the batter in Paul Delonta here, those star-spangled socks that he's got rocking with the rest of the Americans uniform.
It's going all in right there, and I'm a fan. If you're going to go all in, you got to go all the way, getting the socks. It looks really nice.
Especially for nothing better you can rep than the Americans, but that one going to be singled into center field. That's a base hit as Sullivan couldn't get there in time. Stays in front of it. Veteran play there from Sullivan, throws it on in. That's another hit for the Niagara Falls Americans, who now have a runner on first with Ian Huang stepping up to the plate.
You know what they say, you look good, you feel good. Right there, Delonto definitely doing both with that single right back up the middle to center field.
Huang struck out in his first at-bat to end the first inning. We'll see if he's able to do better this time around, as that one, big swing, big miss. Huang falls behind early, 0-1 count. Still one out on the board. We've seen Lefkis give up some contact early on in this inning, looking to do what he did against Huang the first time around and strike him out as he works his way closer to getting there. It's a pitcher's count, 0-2.
Similar to the first at-bat, going fastball, then off-speed pitch. If I remember correctly, he went back to fastball for the third pitch. We'll see what he does here.
He's a bit unpredictable as a pitcher, so it wouldn't surprise me to see the changeup, and there it is. Misses the plate, and a great job there from Huang not biting on it.
Again, though, I don't mind that pitch at all.
I think it's a great pitch.
I think after you keep the hitter guessing. I was thinking he was going fastball. Obviously, he went off speed. The hitter doesn't know what Lefkis is throwing.
The connection between Lefkis and G. Martino has been great this game. They've been communicating well on the pitches that they're looking for, and it's set a good tone and established some good chemistry for the Doubledays early on here. That pitch also misses the plate for ball 2.
Lefkis 52 pitches so far, 31 of them for strikes, so working efficiently in this ball game.
Lefkis probably going to throw one over the middle here, and that one grounded, fouled off just barely to the right side. Lefkis knows when to toy with batters, but he also knows when to just attack the plate. Wasn't going to let it get to a full count, wanted to get the strikeout there. Good job from Huang to stay alive in this at-bat. Still one out on the board, one runner on base. That pitch comes in and catches the outside part of the plate, completely freezing Huang for his second strikeout of the game, the 5th K of the night for the pitcher Hunter Lefkis.
5th strikeout of the night and 3rd looking. Again, I've said it multiple times, just freezing the batters at the plate. Huang right there kind of give a practice swing leaving, like, I got to swing. It's 2 strikes, just wasn't able to pull the trigger.
And that one grounded over to Thompson, who throws it to Fishbein for the final out of the inning. A great display there from the pitcher Hunter Lefkis. Gets out of the inning with ease. We'll head into the bottom of the 4th. It's a 1-0 ball game. The Auburn Doubledays lead by 1. We're back here in the bottom of the fourth inning as Auburn sports a 1-0 lead over the Niagara Falls Americans. It's Parker Schwake stepping up to bat for the Doubledays. He singled in his first at bat, the first hit of the night for either team, as the Doubledays strung together a bunch of hits there in the bottom of the third. We saw a little bit of greediness from the Doubledays. It was Tyler Vivacqua following the sign from the third base coach and the final stay sign, which made a bit too late after Vivacqua already turned for home. And unfortunately, since the red light wasn't signed in time, Vivacqua was easily thrown out. Still a run scoring on the hit from Sullivan, so the Doubledays do have a lead, but Auburn has the chance here to continue their momentum, keep things rolling. It's a 1-1 count to Schwake against Bazinet. That one over the glove of the second baseman in Huang, as that's another single, the first single of the night for the Doubledays that didn't go into shallow left field. Switching it up a little bit, and that's now 3 hits in a row for 3 consecutive batters for the Doubledays.
Schwake going the other way with it over to right field. Good job just going with the pitch, not trying to do too much, not trying to pull it. Doubledays finding their way right now against Bazinet. You know, 1 run's nice, but they know they're probably going to need more than 1 if they want to continue playing well and try and win this game.
That's 5 consecutive players to get on base for the Doubledays, dating back to Bobby Hardy with 2 outs on the board in the third inning. Got on base due to an error, then took second. Then Vivacqua walked, Thompson singled, Sullivan singled. Now we've seen Schwake single again. That one in there for strike 2 against Max Fishbein.
And one thing all these singles have been, good contact. They haven't been weak. They've been good contact in the outfield. Good job by Schwake, like I mentioned, right out there to right field, and see if they can find the good bats on barrels on balls, excuse me.
That one fouled up and going to be too far away into the Doubledays bullpen, out of the reach of the first baseman in Miller.
Perfect opportunity for a fan to go retrieve a foul ball and go return it for a Hershey pup.
Gotta love it. Fishbein batting for the Doubledays. Fishbein's been great in the field so far over at first base, has put together a stellar performance. Now looking to get his first hit of the night as he grounded out in the first at-bat. We've seen Bazinet rely a little bit less on his 90-91 mile per hour fastball, slowing things down a little bit, but still able to blaze one past to the Doubledays from time to time, as that one's fouled off to the left side. Still a pitcher's count, 0-2. Bazinet, not someone who normally toys around with his balls and strikes. It doesn't matter if there's 3 balls or 0. He's going to go for the strikeout no matter what. Doesn't really lean on his breaking ball too much to K batters. That one swung on and missed, 89 miles per hour, and fans Max Fishbein, who's now 0 for 2 on the night. Tommy Kerwin stepping up to bat. 1 runner on base. Kerwin singled in his first time around. Just the 3rd punch out of the night for the pitcher Bazinet. That one going to be hit over to the shortstop in Gizaldo. 1 out and not there for 2. The double play not able to be made, so that's going to be the base runner Parker Schwake not getting there in time for the play at second, but it is going to be Kerwin making it over to first on the fielder's choice. Now G. Martino stepping up to bat.
With Kerwin's speed, it was going to be difficult to make that play at first, even on a clean transfer. Kind of ball got up on the shortstop, Guzaldo, and over to first was not going to happen in time.
It's 2 outs on the board for the Doubledays, who have left plenty of runners on base, looking to avoid adding another run onto that, or another runner left on base to that total. It's a 1-0 count. Michael Gimartino, a power hitter, whenever he's up to bat, an extra base hit is always in play as that one fouled directly behind us, headed straight for the direction of the press box.
I was ready. Do you see me? I was
Yeah.
ready for that
You
one.
got your catching hands up. You looked like one of those dads in the outfield of a MLB game where they're just ready for that ball, holding the kid in one arm, got the glove in the other.
We switched seats tonight, so I realized as a ball was coming, obviously there's netting here, but my side, the window's open, so like I got to be ready for this.
You never know what could happen. Just tears through that net. For any of the fans at home, don't worry. The net is completely safe. You will be fine. However, make sure if you are watching from home, subscribe. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers. Looking to add on to that total. Is that one too high for ball 3?
If you're not able to make it to the ballpark, which I highly suggest you do this summer, it's always a good time. We appreciate you tuning in with us. It's been a fun few games already to start the season. Looking for more this summer.
That one grounded over to the second baseman Huang, who throws it to Miller for the final out of the inning. The Doubledays go scoreless in the fourth, still holding on to their 1-0 lead. We'll be back at the top of the fifth inning. We're back here in the top of the fifth inning. Ryan Story, Luke Backman on the call as the Doubledays maintain their 1-0 lead. It's going to be Jake Hollins taking the batter's box for the Americans. As Niagara Falls has been scoreless so far, a brilliant outing from pitcher Hunter Lefkis to start off the game. Just 58 pitches through his first 4 innings. Only 2 hits given up. The first pitch comes in and fouled off to the right side.
I mean, you take away the 5-run bottom of the ninth last night, the 8 innings before, Americans scoreless against the Doubledays. 4 innings today, scoreless. So 12 out of the 13 innings the Americans and Doubledays have played. Doubledays pitching has held the Americans scoreless. Definitely a very positive sign, if I'd have to say so myself.
But the Doubledays still need to add on that run support. We see it with the Pirates and Paul Skeens, you know? It doesn't matter if you have a 1.5 ERA. If your team can't get any runs, the Doubledays just 1 run today. But we saw the run support yesterday. That's where it certainly came in. 11 runs for the Doubledays. They're looking to add on to it again today. Is the count now 1-2 against Jake Collins.
Yeah, 1-0, you know, it sounds good. Oh, yeah, you know, we just need 1 run and we can win the game. No, you're going to need multiple runs for the Doubledays. Looking to put the second, third run of the night on the board here before the Americans are able to get on the scoreboard.
This is a dangerous Niagara Falls lineup that they have. We saw the Americans get 20 runs in a game against Geneva just a few days ago. That won a 20-3 ball game. Swung on and whiffed. That's Hollins just completely looking like a fool against Hunter Lefkis, who throws a brilliant pitch in there for his 6th strikeout of the day, bringing up Brady Bowles Bulls grounded out in his first at bat, and Lefkis looking to keep it that way. He's been brilliant all of today, and that one swung on, hit into center field. That's Adam Sullivan making the play. Great job by the veteran fielder Sullivan for the second out of the inning.
Hunter Lefkis is dealing tonight. No doubt about that. Quickly 2 outs here in the 5th. Lefkis only 63 pitches on the night, so if he's able to get out this inning, we could see him maybe a couple more innings tonight if everything continues to go to plan.
We saw Heilman have a great outing yesterday, still only went 6 innings. That seems to be the normal mark for these Doubledays pitchers. Manager Matthew Petrosi likes 6 for his starters if they're having a good night. Just 2 days ago, we saw Colin Castile only last 2 innings. Although it was a rough start for the Doubledays to give up 4 runs for those 2 innings in a game that the Doubledays eventually lost. We've already seen the pitcher Lefkis outlast him.
And I think 6 innings is also fair at the start of the season. When it gets deeper, closer to, hey, is that one's outside for ball number 2? When it gets deeper to playoff time, playoff contention, maybe you're going to give your starters a little bit more leash as you know them here. But I think early in the season, you go 6 strong innings. That's exactly what a manager would wish for.
You also don't want to wear out the arms of these Doubledays pitchers. Although Auburn has a very deep rotation this year. You look at the top 2 pitchers in Heilman and Burchard, who have both had fantastic starts to the season. Especially Heilman, after we saw what he did yesterday, really looking to establish his spot as the ace in this Doubledays rotation, as that's going to be Lefkis's first walk in a long time. Hadn't walked a batter in a few innings. Although he does it there, that brings up Jack Satinoff, as the Doubledays now have to go against 1 runner on base. That's Niagara Falls, getting a little bit of pressure on this brilliant Lefkis outing so far.
Yeah, first walk since the second batter of the game for Lefkis. Really seems like as the runner's going to take off here.
And not there in time. The throw from G. Martino over to second. Just can't catch the runner going. We have a pinch hitter instead of Satinoff. It's number 21, Carmen Panaro. That one swung on and whiffed. A big swing there from Panaro. Just can't get that in time. 80 miles per hour on the pitch from Lefkis. 1-1 count, and it's evened up. 2 outs on the board, 1 runner in scoring position. That one bit too high for ball 2, excuse me. Lefkis readies for the pitch. In there, way outside for ball 3. It gets to a dangerous spot for the Doubledays if Lefkis walks Panaro here, because right after him, it's Grant Moore and Evan Core, the 2 best batters in this Americans lineup. You really don't want to be seeing those guys with 2 runners on base. It doesn't matter if they have 2 outs.
Yeah, you want to get through this bottom of the lineup. You had 2 outs going into the last 2 batters, 9 and 10. And this lineup, you want to try and get out of this inning and not flip it over. You want to deal with those guys more. Core and Miller with nobody on. You don't want to have them come to the plate with 2 men on and runner in scoring position if you walk Panaro here.
You just saw Panaro take a timeout there, and that one catches the outside part of the plate. Panaro thought he could take his base, thought it was a bit too far outside. The umpire rules that it was in the strike zone. Catch that if you're watching it on the broadcast, maybe an MLB game, catches that little white line that the players obviously can't see. So it will be the second strike of the at-bat. It's a full count. Big pitch coming in here from Lefkis. Swung on, fouled behind him.
Talk about a big at-bat early in this ball game. Not only would a walk, like we mentioned, flip the lineup to the top of the order, this ball gets put in play and potential single, we could see a tie game. Lefkis trying to not let that happen.
That one way outside, but a steal attempt. Wow, the throw from G. Martino way high over to third. That's going to score a run for the Niagara Falls Americans. It's a tie game, 1-1. Crucial mistake from catcher Michael G. Martino. The unforced error is really hurting Auburn here. It's a 1-1 game. You just can't have that if you're G. Martino, a great defensive catcher, but got a bit greedy there. We saw the base runner in Mathey get a little greedy himself. Looks like he was going to get caught at third if G. Martino's throw was good. A great decision there to run for it, but G. Martino had the time, just a bit wild on the throw over to Thompson. As we have a quick intermission for a pitcher's speak between the manager Matthew Petrosi and pitcher Hunter Lefkis. Lefkis will stay in the game. Matthew Petrosi just out there for a little bit of moral support, as Lefkis is going to be facing the best batters in the Americans order now. It's Grant Moore followed by Evan Core. Still 2 outs on the board, 1 runner on base, as it's a steal attempt and swung on, mushed into right field. That's going to score a run for the Niagara Falls Americans. That's Bobby Hardy trying to corral it. That's a triple for Grant Moore, who recently won Player of the Week for the Americans. An RBI triple that gives the Americans their first lead of the day. The second run scored here in the 5th inning. And now Auburn trailing by 1 rather than leading by 1.
We talked about how quickly it can change in this ball game. It looked like this 5th inning was going to flip over to the bottom quickly. 2 quick outs for Lefkis, as that one's high, and
catches him, it hit him, and he'll take his base. As the umpire will have a quick chat with the pitcher Lefkis. Now base runners on the corners, and it's Graydon Miller stepping up. Evan Core taking his base there, and manager Matthew Petrosi having a quick chat with the umpire.
Personally, I thought Core was able to get out of the way of that ball, but I believe the home plate umpire said it nicked a part of the top of the helmet. Either way, he's standing on first. That's Core. With now Lefkis, runners on the corner, 2 outs, trying to get out of this inning.
This inning has really deteriorated what has been a great start for Hunter Lefkis. He went the first 4 innings scoreless, had 2 quick outs here in the 5th, but just couldn't finish the job. So that one swung on and whiffed, but the steal by Core is going to be easy. He gets to second base without an attempt over. Smart play from G. Martino, not even going to try it, not going to risk that same error on the throw he had over to third that let a run score for the Americans. The pitch comes in and low for ball 1. It's a 1-1 count.
Lefkis trying to do his best to get out of this inning. Partially not even his fault. You got to think about the throw down to third that sailed high. But now he's got to buckle down and try and help out his team.
Yeah, but when you give up a hit like the one you gave up to Moore, where the outfielder doesn't even have a chance at it, it was Bobby Hardy chasing it down. You just have to do a better job. Can't leave that pitch there for Grant Moore, who's one of the best batters in the PGCBL this season. And he can capitalize on anything given to him. That's going to be strike 3. The pitch inside but finds the plate. That's Graydon Miller striking out to send the Doubledays into the bottom of the 5th inning, trailing by 1 now, but Auburn still has the chance to do some damage here in the bottom of the 5th. Stay tuned for more Auburn Doubledays baseball. We're back here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Auburn trails 2-1. We just saw a scavenger hunt where someone in the stands brought a toothpick to our on-field announcer, Kira Dominic. Have to imagine maybe that toothpick was just some remnants from the bat thrown into the grandstands from Max Fishbein over there in the 2nd inning.
Unusually quick. I didn't realize people kept toothpicks on them like that as that first pitch is high for ball number 1. But hey, I was talking with Kira before the game. She proved me wrong. You make a good point. That could have been leftovers from the bat. We'll have to see.
That pitch in there for strike 1. Got his bat a little bit too much around as he tried to hold it up there. 1-1 count. That pitch swung on and whiffed. It's batter Alex Vasquez, who struck out in his first time around. He trails in this count 1-2 as we approach 7:45 Eastern time. That one high for ball 2. The hat flying off the pitcher, Keegan Bazinet there. It's a 2-2 count, evened up. Behind Vasquez, it's Meyer and Hardy as that one grounded right to the pitcher, gets past Bazinet, but the play made by Ian Huang, who's had an up and down game in the field, but gets that one over to Miller at first for the first out of the inning.
Good job by Miller making a small pick there at first to complete the 4-3 ground out. As Vasquez, for a half second, thought that ball was going to get through the middle into the outfield, but Wang ranging over to his right. Good play from him to get over to first in time.
Bazinet could have made the play, but opted to let Huang do what he does best and play a grounder, get it right over to the first baseman. That first pitch inside for ball 1. 1-0 count, 1 out on the board. Another one inside. Deja vu, back-to-back inside pitches. Sam Meyer popped out in his first at-bat. That was in the 3rd inning that was the second out of the 3rd inning. That one hit deep into left field. The play made by Mathey to track down the deep fly ball. Couldn't get to the wall, a bit too shallow as Sam Meyer gave it a run, but not able to get underneath it enough.
I'll say that ball went a lot further than I thought originally. I thought that was just going to be a routine fly out to left field, but that was 2 feet away from the wall. Had the left fielder back, and you see the wind, the flag out there and left kind of blowing in. You got to think maybe if that wind is blown a little out or just neutral tonight, that ball could have left the park because that one's going to hit Hardy right there.
He'll take his base. He's got on base twice this game. 1 error, 1 hit by pitch. And yeah, like you mentioned, that wind blowing it back, especially with how high that ball was hit, that makes the wind play come into effect even more.
100%. We could have seen our first home run at Falcon Park this season if not for the wind.
Still looking for one. No home or visiting player has gotten a homer in Falcon Park. Still looking for it. One player who could do it, Tyler Vivacqua, had his fair share of home runs at Liverpool High School. Local Liverpool, just about 40 to 45 minutes away here from Falcon Park. The pickoff attempt on the throw over from Bazinet to Miller. Vivacqua walked in the 3rd inning, and that one gets past Miller. That's going to get runners on the corners as the dive there by Bobby Hardy might have been for nothing. Probably didn't need to dive, could have made it walking up. But now runners on the corners, bringing up Josh Thompson, who singled in his last at-bat to load the bases. This time, he has runners on first and third. A hit would tie up the game for the Doubledays.
Vivacqua, good job. First pitch he saw, he liked it a lot, was able to get around that pitch, rocket down the first base line. Runners on a corner, 90 feet away from tying this game. Let's see if Auburn can answer here the 2 spot put in the top half of the inning.
And you have to imagine that Bazinet really looking to avoid a walk here or anything that would get Thompson on base for free base. As good of a batter as Thompson is, you have Adam Sullivan coming up next, the best hitter on this Doubledays squad, who seems to step up his game with runners in scoring position. They talk about Shohei Ohtani a lot as a runners on base merchant, where his numbers with nobody on aren't great, but once those runners get on base, he turns into a different animal. That's the same with Sullivan, king of the RBIs.
Sullivan's the reason the Doubledays have one on the scoreboard right now. Had an RBI single back in the third inning. So as you mentioned, again, he's the man you want on in the box. But another man you also want in the box here is Josh Thompson.
That one swung on and whiffed from Thompson. 1-1 count. This inning very reminiscent to that third inning. Followed a pretty similar script so far, with Hardy getting on base for free with 2 outs on the board. Then Vivacqua getting on. Thompson looking to keep that trend going. He got on last time around. As Vivacqua will make the steal attempt, and the throw not even going to be attempted by Delanto. He'll let Vivacqua take that for free, as Vivacqua doing a row your boat celebration. He'll mixes a few different celebration emotes in there. I don't know, doing a bit too many sellies for a free stolen base. Maybe if you actually use your jets to get there, I could see that many sellies being worth it, but showing off a little bit over a second. I like to see it, though. Brings that energy up. That pitch misses the plate for the third ball of the at-bat.
I think we got to figure out, because he did a few celebrations there, what's the celebration of the Auburn Doubledays this summer? You see teams, they always have maybe their go-to when they have a double or a stolen base. You know, maybe Auburn's experimenting with a few here at the start of the season. We'll land on one celebration later on. We'll have to see, investigate that out.
That one misses the plate for ball 4. Now the Doubledays will have the bases loaded. The exact same situation as the third. Sullivan steps up to the plate with the bases loaded, and now we're going to see Niagara Falls skipper Paul Wolf come to have a chat with Bazinet. We'll be back after a short intermission. It's still Bazinet out there on the mound for the Americans. The duo that Niagara Falls has coaching, Paul Wolf and Coco Cordero, deciding Bazinet can get out of the danger he put himself in. Still 2 outs on the board, but we've seen Bazinet handle trouble with ease in recent innings. That one right down the gut for strike 1.
There's some slight warming in the Americans' bullpen, but nothing too aggressive. So it looks like this is Bazinet's inning, unless something goes really bad. Look to him to find a way to get out this inning, even if there's a hit here.
1-1 count to Sullivan so far as that one misses the plate. Sullivan handles fast pitches with ease, knows how to attack those fastballs down the middle. Waited on that one right there, not the pitch that he was looking for. That one catches the plate. That's a beautiful four-seam fastball from the pitcher Bazinet. 1-2 count.
Big pitch here for both sides. Americans trying to get out of this inning with no damage. Doubledays trying to either tie this ball game or even take the lead.
Sullivan, the exact batter the Doubledays want here. Oh, but can't get it done there. Bazinet with a beautiful 90-mile-per-hour pitch that just gets past Sullivan. That'll send Auburn into the 6th inning, still trailing by 1 run. Too many runners left on base for the Doubledays this game. We'll be back for more Auburn Doubledays baseball.
back here at Falcon Park. Luke Backman, Ryan Story on a very cool night here in Auburn, New York. A little chilly as the Auburn Doubledays trail the Niagara Falls Americans 2-1. We're going to have a new pitcher on the mound for the Doubledays. Eston Elko is going to be in relief for Hunter Lefkis. His first pitch from Elko is going to be outside to Paul Delanto. Delanto singled back in the fourth inning, and after this pitch, that's going to hit the backstop from Elko. Even though Lefkis left the game with the Doubledays down 2-1 here, I think this was an extremely good start for Hunter Lefkis. Leaves the game with 7 strikeouts, 3 walks, 3 hits, 2 runs, only one of those earned. I think this was a successful night with him on the mound, that pitch high up for ball number 3.
It certainly was, and while it didn't end the way that he wanted to, it was still a great outing. 5 innings pitched, 2 runs given up, and the 2 runs really came as a result of an error that could have been avoided. Obviously, the run still might have been scored, but it wasn't really too much of Lefkis' fault.
Yeah, Lefkis, good bounce back from his original appearance in this game, in the season, 5 days earlier. As that pitch is going to be high for ball number 4 to Delanto. 4 consecutive balls from Eston Elko to start his appearance. Not a sign you want to see, having to lock in the second baseman Huang at the plate. That pitch is going to be in there, though, for a called strike. First strike of the night for Elko.
Elko's someone who his early starts don't necessarily reflect the rest of his outings, where he'll start off kind of rough, but then as the pitches rack up for him, he gets into a groove, he settles in, and that's where he really starts to pick up in his second and third innings.
100%. Elko, as we've seen tonight, his prior appearances, he's come out, thrown balls to the first few batters he's faced, and then he's really settled down, looking to settle down a little earlier in his relief appearance. That one's going to be fouled out of play for strike number 2. Count now 1-2 to Huang. As in those prior appearances, he's had a little bit of run support, a bit of a lead to play with. This one, deficit of 1, trying to get the Americans out as that ball's going to be in the dirt. Giamonte's going to try and get to that, throw over to second, not in time, as Delanto is going to reach second base on that wild pitch.
Giamartino just couldn't keep that one right in front of him. Bounced away from Giamartino, who's a good defensive catcher, but hasn't been having the best of games today. Elko's also been pretty wild to start this outing.
2-2 pitch is going to curve just off the plate, maybe a little bit high as well. Count now full 3-2. I like that pitch from Elko. Home plate umpire said probably good, but a little high and outside. Count now full 3-2 from Elko. Fouled off. We'll do it again.
Elko just needs to start that momentum, has to get the ball rolling here, get those early outs, because if you put runners on first and second with 0 outs, it's just not a good sign, despite it being the bottom of the lineup coming up for the Americans.
Payoff pitch, flied out to right. It's going to be Hardy making the catch, and the throw's going to keep Delanto at second. Good job by Hardy, got under that ball with forward momentum. Delanto didn't even want to take a chance. Good ideas. That throw would have beat him to third base. Big first out for Elko.
Hardy flashing his great throwing arm there. I also like what Sullivan did. Obviously, we had seen that it wasn't going to be a play from Delanto to try to take third, but Sullivan making the veteran play, snagging it without letting it get over to Thompson at third to just prevent any errors. We've seen the Doubledays struggle with some throwing errors this game. Just get that out of the way. A great veteran play there from Sullivan.
Last thing we want to see is an error leading to Delanto advancing 90 feet now. Chris Guzaldo, the shortstop, in the box. First pitch he's going to see is high. Guzaldo 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out looking back in the second inning and grounded out to third base in the fourth.
Guzaldo, the last batter of this really strong start to the to the Americans order. Bats 368 on the season. Hasn't had the strongest of outings today, but he's someone who you could just tell is due for a hit with how he normally is. He terrorizes opponent pitchers.
He's played a good shortstop today as well as he readies as Elko deals the 1-1 pitch. The curve is going to be too much inside for ball number 2. Count now 2-1.
Collins, Bulls, Mathey, and Pinaro all bat under 500 on the campaign. Under 300 on the campaign, which is a big switch from this early lineup where the order for this Americans team is just so strong.
85-mile-per-hour pitch from Elko is going to be low. Now behind in the count, 3-1, trying to battle back against Guzaldo with a runner on second. 3-1 pitch. That's going to be hit in the air out to center field. Sullivan is on the way. He's going to track it down as Dulanto is going to head back to second. That ball got out there quickly, so Dulanto wasn't able to retreat back to second in time to tag up. Big second out. Good job by Sullivan tracking that one down.
Sullivan's done a good job today out there in center field. Normally the shortstop on this squad was third base last year, moved over to shortstop, but displays defensive versatility wherever he goes. Does the same thing at Lemoyne where he can be put in anywhere in the outfield or the infield.
Hey, they say center field is like the shortstop of the outfield. You got to be the captain, take charge. Certainly Sullivan did a good job taking charge, calling off Schwake, tracking that ball. Big time second out. We talked about Elko settling in later in his appearances. Looks like he settled in so far in this appearance. 2 quick outs. That one's in there for strike number 1. Count now 1-1 to Jake Hollins.
The Doubledays still out hitting Niagara this game despite being down in the total score.
That one's a carbon copy of the previous pitch on the outside part of the strike. Hollins couldn't even take the bat off his shoulder, looked at it, as that's going to be a strike number 2 and 1 strike away from getting out of this inning after walking the leadoff batter. Pitch in the dirt, Giamartino, getting to that in time, keeping the runner at second. Count now 2-2.
Jake Collins 0 for 2 on the night out of Deauville University.
Pitch fouled off. We'll do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2-1 lead for the Americans in the top of the 6th inning. Doubledays have had their chances tonight. Left plenty of runners on base, but plenty of game left here at Falcon Park. The 2-2 pitch, curve, fouled off. Hey, we'll do it one more time. Why not?
Just an absolute struggle from Hollins to stay alive in this at-bat.
Yeah, second consecutive foul ball with 2 strikes. Elko trying to find a put-out pitch here to send Auburn to the plate in the 6th inning. The 2-2 from Elko in the dirt. Good job by Giamartino staying in front of that. Is now full count 3-2.
A walk here isn't necessarily crushing since you still have 2 outs on the board and Brady Bowles coming up next, but it would be a good sign, a good omen for Elko if he could get a strikeout here.
Elko's pitch swung on and missed there for strike number 3. Jake Hollins swings right through that, as that'll be the first strikeout of the night for Eston Elko, and one to get him out of the top of the 6th, bringing Auburn to the plate. Down 2-1. We'll see if they can make a little bit of a rally here on the bottom of the 6th. We'll be right back after this. Back here, bottom of the sixth, Falcon Park. Parker Schwake is headed to the plate. Schwake, 2 for 2, successful night at the plate with 2 singles of Keegan Bazinet. Comes to the plate trying to find his way on board for the 3rd time. It's the first pitch here is going to be in there for strike number 1.
There's a reason Schwake's in the cleanup spot, and it's because he's shown that he's a consistent hitter. He can always get those hits into the gaps and into the shallow outfield.
Second pitch is going to be inside for a ball. Count now 1-1 to Schwake. Schwake, the designated hitter tonight, having the night off, from playing in the field, is the 1-1 low in the dirt for ball number 2.
Bazinet just 80 miles per hour on that pitch.
That one's high for ball 1. For ball 3, count 3-1. Bazinet had a little bit of trouble last inning. Doubledays couldn't capitalize, leaving 3 on base. That one's going to catch the inside part of the plate for strike number 2. Count now full, 3-2. Got to think if you're the Doubledays, you want to jump on Bazinet in this inning after struggling last inning. Try and get to him. Payoff pitch inside for ball number 4. Leadoff hitter is on base, and it's Schwake's 3rd time on base here tonight.
You have to imagine Bazinet doesn't have much leeway. The leash for him is going to be very short this inning after putting himself in a lot of trouble his last go-around.
100% as Max Fishbian steps to the plate, reached on a fielder's choice back in the 2nd. Struck out in the 4th inning. First pitch he sees from Bazinet is going to be a ball. One-0 inside, ball number 2. We're going to see a quick little conference on the mound. I think this is good from Delanto going to Bazinet, trying to calm him down, try and get him back into a rhythm. He was working well throughout this game last inning. He was able to get out of it, but Doubledays kind of got to him. Seems like it's carried over to here in the bottom of the 6th. Good kind of timeout from Delanto as Fishbian steps back in the box.
We haven't really seen Bazinet's speed get affected as he gets into his outing. It's more been the accuracy is diminished slightly as we get into the 6th inning.
Wasn't able to find the accuracy there as that one's high. Count now 3-0 now to Fishbian. Pitch taking all the way was low for ball number 4. 5 consecutive balls and 2 consecutive walks for Bazinet is going to lead the manager for the Americans to make the slow walk out to the mound. I can assume that this is going to be the end of the night for Keegan Bazinet, but we'll see, as indeed the manager will take the mound, and we'll be back with more information on the new pitcher for the Americans right after these sponsors and intermission.
It's a new pitcher for the Niagara Falls Americans, as it's going to be Hudson Boring taking the mound for Keegan Bazinet. His arm might not be as intimidating for the Doubledays, but he's even more physically intimidating, standing 6'7", 200 pounds. Didn't play at Panola College in his first year, but a very good defensive pitcher. We saw that at McKinney Boyd High School, where he could play all throughout the infield while still being a great player on the mound. That first pitch comes in and is outside for ball one. Tommy Kerwin up to bat for the Doubledays, 1 for 2 on the night, a single and a fielder's choice. Kerwin has been red hot in his recent games. That one, ball and the throw over to third, not in time. The throw from Delanto to Bowles just can't get there in time. That's going to keep Max Fishbein, it's going to keep Parker Schwake over at third. Max Fishbein at second. Now Kerwin has 2 runners in scoring position with no outs on the board and no force out opportunities, except for at first base, obviously. It's a 3-0 count, not the best it starts for Hudson Borg, who falls behind in the count early. Have to imagine there's a red light here. That one misses the strike zone, a 4-pitch walk, as that'll be Tommy Kerwin taking his base. The bases are now loaded with Michael G. Martino stepping up to the plate. Only one of these guys needs to score for the Doubledays to tie it up, but the leading run is on second.
Not what you want to see from the Americans with Hudson Boring coming in, 4-pitch walk there. Michael G. Martino in a huge spot for the Doubledays.
It's a massive spot. We saw G. Martino have a chance earlier in this game with runners on the corners and just 1 out. So somewhat similar situation. G. Martino grounded into a double play. Hasn't the best game in the field. I'm looking to see if G. Martino could step up here despite it not being his strongest outing. Do some damage with 3 runners on and no outs.
First strike of the night for Boring. He had thrown 5 consecutive balls beforehand. G. Martino looked like he was taken all the way, making Boring throw him a strike, as that one was over the plate to even the count 1-1 as Boring deals the pitch. That one's going to be popped in the air, back and out of play. Count now 1-2.
Each pitch in this at-bat is huge with 2 strikes. A strikeout goes a long way towards Boring getting out of this inning with no runs given up.
1-2 pitch outside, ball number 2. Count now even, 2-2. Golden opportunity here for Auburn. Bases loaded, nobody out. We've talked about their struggles with leaving runners on base in the past few games, trying to score these very needed runs. Pitch fouled out of play. As G. Martino, will stay alive. Count remains 2-2.
The Doubledays have just struggled too much with leaving runners on base early on in this game. They have 1 run, but should have significantly more. They just haven't been able to capitalize.
Pitch fouled off again. Great job by G. Martino staying alive, as he'll see the 7th pitch of this at-bat coming up next. Counts 2-2, scores 2-1. Niagara Falls is Boring's 2-2, low and inside. Count now full, 3-2. 3-2, nowhere to put them.
Said it before, I'll say it again. This is a massive pitch for Hudson Boring.
G. Martino's got to know too, a walk is just as good as the pitch. Popped in the air and is going to make its way to the seats. Actually, it might have been over the roof. I'm not sure. But either way, it's a foul ball out of play. G. Martino stays alive.
You can just see it on G. Martino's face. He wants to hit here. He wants to be a hero. Can he do it?
Going to see his 9th pitch of the at-bat right here. The payoff. Hey, guess what's happening? Yep, it's another foul ball. We're going to do it all over again. Feels like that's becoming my phrase of the night. Is Boring on the mound. 3-2 pitch. Huge pitch in this game is dealt. Hitting the air, slicing over to the clubhouse, and is going to be foul. Ten pitches in this at-bat. Going to be the 11th coming up from Boring to G. Martino.
Racking up Boring's pitch count early on.
Boring readies and deals. Pitch fouled off. Yes.
Only thing you can say to that is, wow. Just an absolute battle between these guys. A true test of willpower.
Crowd gives an applause for the home guy, G. Martino, and I assume a 2-degree Boring as well. Just a battle in a tough situation between pitcher and hitter. Payoff pitch. That one's hitting the air out to right field. Hollins is going to be under it. Tagging from third is Schwake, and he's going to score in time. No throw at the plate. It's a tie. It's a 2-2 tied ball game here in the bottom of the sixth. As G. Martino might have flew out. That's a successful at-bat, tying the game, advancing the runner from second over to third. Now runners on the corner, 1 out.
A strikeout would have been devastating for G. Martino in the Doubledays. Even though he wasn't able to get it to drop fair, that was still a great attempt from G. Martino, and obviously scores a run, puts another guy on third.
Now that's going to bring up Alex Vasquez. First pitch in the dirt for a ball.
Alex Vasquez, 0 for 2 on the night so far. Struck out his first time around, grounded out in his most recent time up. Looking for a prove-it at-bat here. It's now a 2-0 count. The pitch got a little bit away from the catcher Delanto, but he was able to corral it enough. It seems that Auburn really respects Delanto behind the plate. Haven't really tried to get any steal attempts from over at second base.
Kerwin definitely with speed at first. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes, but he's staying put. 2-0 pitch in the dirt again for ball number 3, as Boring has had a tough time here with command in the 6th inning.
Another time where you have to imagine it's a red light for the batter Vasquez until he can see a strike thrown by Boring.
Pitch in there for strike number 1. Vasquez taken the entire way. Count now 3-1.
Great pitch there from Boring, who got up to 85 miles per hour, one of his fastest pitches on the night.
3-1 pitch. Kerwin on the move. Strike, throw down. Runner from third's coming home. No throw. He's scoring. Doubledays have a 3-2 lead. Everybody's safe there.
Big play. Ian Huang not able to get the throw in time. He's had an iffy start in second base, and just a mistake that can't be made. Great play, great heads-up play by him to be ready for the double steal attempt, try to get the throw over to home, but just couldn't make the transition to his throwing hand.
Pitch on the ground over to the first baseman. Miller's going to toss over to Boring in time. So Boring at first, who is covering the base. So it's going to be 2 outs. Runner advances to third now.
Auburn still just narrowly leading in the hits department, 4-3.
Doubledays now have a 3-2 lead in this bottom of the 6th. First pitch here to Sam Meyer is going to be low for ball 1. Meyer gave his last at-bat, gave a pitch in his last at-bat, a ride out to left field. Outfielder just a few feet away from the back of the wall. Second pitch in there for a strike. He comes to the plate. Runner on third, 2 outs. Trying to extend this lead now for the Doubledays. Good job bouncing back with 2 of their own to match 2 of the in the 5th from
Base hit
Niagara.
would be huge for Meyer.
Myers Sees the third pitch from Boring on the outside part of this plate for strike number 2. Count now 1-2. Boring readies. That one's hit out to left field, and that's going to score Tommy Kerwin to make this ball game 4-2. And heading to second because of a slow transfer of Sam Meyer. Read the left fielder. Mattei's slow transfer getting to that ball was kind of not going 100%. Meyer said, let me take advantage of that with my speed. He ends up on second.
We talk about it all the time. Get the ball in play and good things will happen. We saw Meyer give it a ride in his last go around, but just wasn't able to get it to drop. That one a bit sharper, a bit cleaner off the bat. Didn't get as much air, and it was just able to land fair that time around. Meyer having a great game despite being just 1 for 3 from the field or at the plate.
Huge heads-up play from Meyer as he realized, hey, I can get to second no problem. Does so as that's going to cause another pitching change here for the Americans, the second of the inning. As we'll come back with more information about who's going to come to the mound right after this intermission. Back here, bottom of the sixth, Auburn has responded with 3 runs of their own, knocking out Hudson Boring. Is granted, only one of those runs are going to go to Boring, as 2 were put on because of Bazinet, who started the inning. They came around to score. Schwake and Fishbian. Kerwin came around to score. That was going to be charged to Hudson Boring. Now the second pitcher of the inning and third of the game for the Americans, Joseph Chaya, is on the mound. First pitch to Bobby Hardy is swung on and missed.
Chaya out of Niagara County Community College, where he's one of the key players on that squad, can play around the field, but mostly a pitcher for them.
Chaya is going to produce a swing and a miss again from Bobby Hardy. Quickly down in the count, 0-2.
Chaya sported a 3.0 ERA last season.
Pitched little dribbler back to second base. That's going to be Wong over to first in time to Miller. That's going to be the third out of the inning as Chaya gets out of it, but not before Auburn plates 3 takes back the lead here. They lead 4-2. Coming to the mound here is Eston Elko for a second inning of work back in the 7th inning. We'll be right back after this. Brady Bowles will lead off the inning here for the Americans as Eston Elko comes out for his second inning of work. Now with a 4-2 lead. First pitch to Bowles is going to be inside for ball number 1.
Bowles 0 for 2 on the night. He's certainly not having a great outing so far today.
Trying to change that fortune for him and Niagara Falls. This pitch is going to be high for ball number 2. One thing to kind of look out here, Elko had to sit between that inning, the bottom half of the 6th for a while, so see if he comes out warm, ready to go or not. As the first 2 pitches were outside of the strike zone, make that first 3 pitches outside of the strike zone. Count now quickly 3-0.
Situation drastically different for Elko, who goes from pitching from behind to now pitching with a somewhat sizable lead.
Elko's 3-0 is in there for a strike. Count now 3-1. Bulls is going to see the fifth pitch, fourth ball, as that's going to be a leadoff walk here in the top of the 7th.
Mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. We really need to see Elko have a good end to the order for against the Americans, because once you get past Mathey and Panaro, it gets to that Devils lineup of Moore, Core, Miller, where they can do anything at the plate.
First pitch low and outside for ball number 1 to Tommy Mathey. Had a single in the 3rd inning, walked in the 5th inning. You mentioned it perfectly, as we're going to see. I think a smart move here by the manager from the Doubledays, going out to talk with Elko, slow him down. First 6 pitches, 5 of them have been balls from Elko, just calming the young pitcher down. Hey, just throw some strikes, get it over the plate. You got a defense behind you for a reason. I think a good move here to just go talk with your young pitcher.
There's a sense of urgency now in the Auburn bullpen where they have to be ready. Any mistakes, any slip-ups from Elko could lead to a replacement on the mound, but if Elko can prove his worth here in the 7th inning, it wouldn't surprise me to see him last even further, just about the leash that he can build himself with manager Matthew Petrosi.
Absolutely, as there is action in the Doubledays bullpen, but they're counting on Elko right now to get out of this inning. First pitch, second pitch of the at-bat is going to be low for ball number 2. Count now 2-0. Niagara Falls can put runs up in a hurry. Pitch inside. Count now 3-0. Second consecutive count to get to a 3-0 situation as Elko walked the leadoff batter of the inning.
A 4-pitch walk certainly won't give him any leeway with Petrosi.
Pitch right down the middle, exactly what he needed. Taking all the way was Mathey for a strike. Count now 3-1. Let's see if Elko can find his way back and battle back in this count. Gonna pick off a temp over at first, keep Bulls honest and near the bag. As he comes back to the rubber, the right side of the rubber. Peers down to G. Martino, gets the sign he likes. Deals the 3-1. That's going to be high for ball 4. Mathey was able to check his swing in time and not go around, as that's going to be a walk, sending him to first and Brady Bowles to second here in the top of the 7th.
We'll see a pitching change now as it's the second mound visit of the inning.
Matthew Petrosi, the manager for the Doubledays, is going to raise his right hand and make a call to the bullpen. That's going to be the end of the night for Eston Elko, and we'll tell you more about the reliever for the Doubledays right after this. Tyler Vivacqua now on the mound for the Doubledays. Yes, the same Tyler Vivacqua that's been leading off. Remember, he was the extra hitter, so he will be on the mound pitching tonight. In a big situation, first and second. Bunt laid down by Pinero, a beauty. Vivacqua's going to field it, go to first for the first out, as that will be a sac bunt for Carmen Pinero. Really a perfect way you can do it.
That's just a brilliant display from Pinaro, and exactly what you need if you're the Americans, your guys at the bottom of your order, to do exactly what their roles are. Put a beautiful bunt down that advances both of your base runners, puts two runners now in scoring position.
As you mentioned, second and third now the runners for the Americans. First pitch to Grant Moore is going to be swung on and missed.
I'd be super impressed if Vivacqua is able to get through Moore and Core coming up without giving up a run.
Second pitch fouled right of the first base bag. Count now quickly 0-2. If Vivacqua is able to find his way out of this jam, you would have to give it up to him. Very tough position to be in as he's quickly ahead in the count 0-2 to Grant Moore. The pitch, little dribbler over to first. Going home is going to be the Doubledays, and the play at the plate. He's out at the plate. Fishbein, great play at the plate. Saw the dribbler, saw the runner advancing, going home, and Brady Bowles and said, I got time, and I got the throw to nab him at home, and that he does, keeping it a 4-2 ball game. Now, great play, 2 outs here, runners on first and second.
Just a great play all around, including G. Martino, who, as I mentioned before, has struggled a little bit in the field this game. That was a tough play to make, even though he had the ball first. A diving display from the base runner, G. Martino, was able to just snuff it out.
First and second, as Tyler Vivacqua is going to take on Evan Core. Core's reached base twice via a walk and a hit by pitch in this ball game. First pitch he sees from Vivacqua is going to be low for ball number 1.
And when you have a batter who bats over 500 on the season, you have to be concerned when he's hitless through his first 3 at-bats. Obviously, he's gotten on base twice, but this is someone who can do a ton of damage in the batter's box.
You just feel the old baseball omen, he's due at some point. And for Vivacqua and the Doubledays, wanting to make sure it's not right now that he's due. Vivacqua behind in the count 2-0. He's just going to make sure as he turns around to Tommy Mathey, who's leading off the second, was getting an aggressive lead. Vivacqua stepped off, made a little turn. Not a legit pickoff attempt, but just to keep Mathey a little honest. As he's going to go ahead with the 2-0 pitch. In there for a strike to Evan Core. Count now 2-1.
Great pitch there. 90 miles per hour. First Doubleday to hit that mark this game.
Kind of froze Core. Maybe wasn't expecting a pitch with that speed or velocity. Either way, took it looking. Count now 2-1. Vivacqua still trying to work back in this count. Get out of this jam. 4-2, Doubledays lead, 2-1 pitched, hit in the air over to left field, going to make his way. Parker Schweik's going to get it in quickly, keeping the runner Mathey at third base. As he got the stop sign, Mathey from the third base coach. Bases loaded for Braden Miller.
That's a great play there from Meyer to prevent any more damage from being done. Bases loaded, sure isn't great, but a run there could have made it a completely different ball game. Would have put the tying run at second.
Pitch hit in the air. At short is Vasquez. He's going to be under that one and make the catch to get out of the jam. Tyler Vivacqua comes in with runners on first and second. Nobody out. Then second and third, only 1 out. Escapes this inning with no runs given up to the Niagara Falls Americans. A huge job by Tyler Vivacqua as the Doubledays are going to come to the plate here in the bottom of the 7th, trying to add to their lead.
We're back here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and we just saw Tyler Vivacqua display his brilliance on the mound, get out of a jam for the Doubledays. Now he's up at the plate for Auburn. He takes a ball there on the first pitch of the at-bat. Still Joseph Chia out there on the mound. He finished up the inning for the Americans last time around. Vivacqua just doing a great job there with Elko putting him in a lot of trouble. Vivacqua was just able to get out of the danger that he was put in. Vivacqua, a big swing and miss there. Really attacked that pitch, just wasn't able to get his bat on the ball. Maybe a bit too aggressive on that swing, could have calmed it down a little bit. That one also swung on and hit deep into left center field. And the play made there by the center fielder. That's Moore coming down underneath it and able to make the play.
What a diving play. As that ball was dropping quickly, center fielder made a diving play to keep Vivacqua off of the base pass. That could have easily, if that got down, that's a double, maybe even a triple with the speed of Vivacqua. Now that's a huge first out.
Excuse me, that was Derek Gismondi making the play, who stepped in for Grant Moore. Also was in as a pinch hitter in the last at-bat.
First pitch here to Josh Thompson on the outside part of the plate for strike number 1. Auburn trying to add more runs, already up 4-2, 2-run lead, which is nice. Second pitch outside, ball number 1. But again, this Niagara Falls team does not go away quickly or quietly. Any insurance runs you can add would be huge. Pitch in the other batter's box to Thompson. Count now 2-1. That's going to be in there for a strike. Count now 2-2.
Thompson 1 for 2 on the night, 1 walk in addition to a single.
Pitch fouled off. Over by the dugout for the Doubledays. Staying alive is Josh Thompson. Joseph Chaya on the mound. Is the pitch high for ball number 3. Full count now here to Josh Thompson.
This Niagara Falls pitching staff just has absolute cannons for their arms. 87 miles per hour on the pitch from Chaya, following the steps of Bazinet and Boring, who could both use their speed.
Pitch is going to be on the outside part of the plate for strike 3 as Josh Thompson has some words. He doesn't believe that was strike number 3. Thought instead it was ball 4. Home plate umpire disagreed with him, calling him out on strikes. Chaya has the second out of the inning here in the bottom of the 7th.
Thompson was not happy with that one. And to be fair, it did look like it missed the plate, but the umpire confident in his decision.
Bring it up, Adam Sullivan, whose first pitch is going to be inside for ball number 1. Sullivan on the night, 1 for 2, singled. 1 for 3 on the night, singled with an RBI single in the 3rd and struck out in his other 2 appearances at the plate. Pitch fouled out of play. Count now 1-1.
Sullivan, a great batter for the Doubledays, looking to avenge Thompson, who struck out.
Pitch in there for strike number 2. Sullivan behind in the count, 1-2 here. In a 4-2 ball game. The pitch from Joe Shia outside. It's going to be now even 2-2.
We haven't really seen Chaya dip into his breaking ball yet.
That pitch is going to be a looper and loop its way into the outfield, right field. Hollins will play it off a bounce, and Sullivan's on first with a single here with 2 outs.
That was that breaking ball that Sullivan just capitalized on, jumped on it, and mushed it into the outfield.
Good job by Adam Sullivan staying back on that pitch. It was around 72, 73 miles per hour, stayed back, turned on it, out to right field. for a single, trying to start a 2-out rally, bringing up Parker Schwake, who's reached base 3 times, 2 hits and a walk. First pitch he sees from Shy is going to be outside for ball number 1. Parker Schwake, successful night at the plate. 2 singles, as I mentioned, a walk, a stolen base. Talk about stolen base. Sullivan's on the move. He's going to get to second in time for a stolen base himself and get in scoring position for Parker Schwake.
The throw from Delanto nearly took the head off of Joseph Chia.
Throw also was not nearly going to be in time. Great jump from Sullivan. Got to second with ease. That pitch was a ball, so 2-0 hitters count for Parker Schwake. Seems like he was in between whether or not he wanted to go. Eventually went around for strike number 1.
If you're going to go, you have to commit, and there was just zero commitment on that swing from Schwake.
Crowd trying to get the Doubledays into it. Had another run to the scoreboard. Pitch outside. Count now 3-1. In the hole is Max Fishbian. Reached base twice tonight from a fielder's choice and a walk. Right now it's Parker Schwake trying to do the damage. The 3-1 pitch. Shy is going to be swung on and missed. Better swing, but still missed from Parker Schwake. Count now full 3-2. Excuse me, counts 2-2. That one's going to be on the inside part of the plate for strike number 3. Home plate umpire kind of gave just a little bit of emotion, as that's going to be strike 3 to end the inning. Parker Schwake going down on strikes, looking. Auburn has a 4-2 lead coming to the mound. Tyler Vivacqua for the top of the 8th. We'll be right back after this. Tyler Vivacqua back on the mound. Is going to go up against Paul Delanto of the Americans. First pitch to Delanto is going to be outside for ball number 1. Vivacqua able to get out of trouble in the top of the 7th. Coming into some trouble. Was able to maneuver himself out without giving up a run. Second pitch hit in the air, popped up and out of play from Delanto. Count now even 1-1. Luke Backman, Ryan Story here with you in a very good game. Not a blowout like last night. This is a close game. Been that way throughout the night. 1-1 pitch outside for ball number 2.
It's been back and forth throughout. No team has really grown too much of a lead. This 2-run lead for the Doubledays is the largest of the night.
Originally it was 1-0, then 2 on the board from Niagara, made it 2-1, then 3 on the board from Auburn in the bottom of the 6th, made it 4-2. That's where we stand here as we start playing the 8th inning as Paul Delanto, 2-1, had to call time, looked like some stuff was in his eye. Back in the batter's box, Vivacqua deals high for ball. Count now 3-1.
Vivacqua hasn't pitched in a few games. It wouldn't surprise me to see him close this one out for the Doubledays if everything goes right.
Currently no one in the bullpen getting ready, so it looks like it's Vivacqua's game as he starts this inning with a leadoff walk. 3rd consecutive inning where the Americans lead off the inning. Their leadoff batter is on with a walk, something that the Doubledays need to try and limit. But right now, Vivacqua is going to have to deal with Ian Hung at the plate.
Huang struggled at the plate so far. 0-3 on the night.
Wang at the plate. First pitch he sees is going to be high for ball 1. Aqua got out of a bases loaded jam in the 7th. Not trying to have anything as stressing here on the 8th. Runner on first. Delanto pitched to Huang inside for ball number 2. Count now 2-0 to Huang.
G. Martino hasn't been tested in a while.
Delanto with a conservative lead, 2-0 pitch high and inside. Vivacqua trying to find the command here. Has 3 consecutive balls in this at-bat to Huang are upstairs and high for balls.
Vivacqua doesn't normally throw low pitch count walks. He knows when to lock in and when to just start getting it over the plate. Looking to see him do that here.
Pitch in there for a strike. Needed it, got it for strike number 1. Before that, 6 consecutive balls had been thrown by Vivacqua. As he readies for a 3-1 pitch to Huang. That one's going to be hit in the air, down the line in left field. That's going to bring Delanto to third. At least the throw in time is going to be there to hold the runners before they're able to score. But either way, it's 2nd and 3rd. Nobody out thanks to an Ian Huang double in the top of the 8th. That means the tying run stands on 2nd with nobody out.
And now the bullpen at least getting a little bit more active with 2 runners in scoring position.
Right now, bullpen getting a little active like Ryan mentioned, but it's still Tyler Vivacqua on the mound. This is going to be his trouble to try and get out of. Taking on Chris Guzaldo. Corners in the infield are in. That means 1st and 3rd are playing in against Guzaldo. If hot ground ball to them, looks like they're going to try and go home to nab the lead runner. We saw Fishbein do that in the prior inning. Pitch fouled off for strike number 2.
Vivacqua could really use a punch out here. Would be a big first step to getting out of this inning with the Doubledays still maintaining that lead.
Ahead 0-2 in the count. The pitch, that's fouled off. Count will remain 0-2. Totally agree with you. A strikeout would pay dividends right here for the Doubledays if Vivacqua is able to get out of it. You can see a little bit more light at the end of the tunnel if you get the strikeout. Still a long way to go and still a tough pitch here as these 0-2. Fouled off again. Staying alive is Guzaldo.
Guzaldo 0 for 3 on the night so far.
Doubledays up 4-2 in this ball game. Count 0-2. Vivacqua to Guzaldo. Swung on and missed. There's the strikeout. Ryan was talking about a huge strikeout from Tyler Vivacqua. That's the first out of this inning and a much needed one.
Exactly what the doctor ordered. With a tying run on 2nd, Vivacqua couldn't afford to play around too much. Needed the strikeout, got the K.
Now here comes Jake Hollins to the plate. 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts himself. That one's hit in the air, out to right field. That's going to be Hardy on the move, making the play. Going to throw home to G. Martino. The play at the plate. It's not going to be in time. Avoiding the tag is Paul Delanto. Wow. Just able to move out of the way of the tag to score the 3rd run of the night for the Americans, cutting the lead in half to 1 now, but 2 outs here for the Doubledays. Still a runner on 3rd. What a throw and what a slide from Delanto.
Got to give all the credit in the world to Bobby Hardy out there in right field. Nobody thought he could have made that throw, especially not with the precision that he made it with. It turned a play that probably should have been an easy run into what likely could have been an easy out if it wasn't just such a good play by Delanto to get underneath the tag.
What a throw from Bobby Hardy, but is not able to result in a double play to get out of the inning. Now Vivacqua has to lock back in, is because there is a runner. That's Ian Huang at 3rd base. 2 outs, pitch fouled off, count now 1-1.
That tying run sitting there in 3rd inning has to be in the back of Vivacqua's mind. Can't afford to give up a base hit here.
Count 1-1, score 4-3 Doubledays. Pitch swung on and missed. 1 strike away from finding a way out of this inning is Vivacqua. Brady Bulls in the batter's box. 0 for 2 with a walk. The 1-2 pitch is there on the outside part of the plate for strike number 3 to get Brady Bulls looking and to get out of the inning where the tying run was on 2nd with nobody out. Niagara Falls scored 1, but that's all they were able to score. Cut the lead in half to 1. Doubledays still lead 4-3. Come into bat here in the bottom of the 8th, trying to add an insurance run. We'll be right back after this. Back in Falcon Park with the Doubledays leading. Now their lead only by 1. Niagara Falls was able to plate 1 in the top half of the 8th, but not able to plate a 2nd to tie the game. Doubledays looking for a way to add any type of insurance to their lead as Max Fishbein comes to the plate, facing Joe Chaya again in for the Americans for another inning of work. First pitch to Fishbein, swung on and fouled out of play for strike number 1.
Fishbein 0 for 2 on the night with a walk.
Looking to just get on anyway, and I like to say pass the baton to the other hitters in this lineup. His second pitch is going to be grounded over to the 3rd baseman, Brady Bulls, and he's going to fire to first in time for the first out of the inning.
Bulls has had a good outing over there at 3rd. Really nice defense from a veteran player.
Tommy Kerwin comes to the plate here, reaching base 2 times in this game. First a single in the 2nd inning and a walk in the 6th inning. First pitch he sees is on the outside part of the plate, looking for strike number 1. Joe Chaya really has come in and done a good job of settling things down for the Americans. Pitch rolled over onto first. Miller's going to throw over to Chaya, not in time, as Kerwin is able to beat that one out at first base. Good job by Tommy Kerwin running all the way. And now you have a runner on if you're Auburn trying to add to this lead.
If it's a foot race between Kerwin and Chia, I think I'll take Kerwin every single time. He proved it right there. His legs are a dangerous tool in his bag.
Infield single there for Kerwin. Brings up Michael G. Martino to the plate. G. Martino had a 12-pitch at bat previously, which ended in a sac fly to take the lead 3-2. His first pitch he sees is outside for a ball. That pitch is a strike. On the move is Kerwin into second in time for a stolen base.
You know, if that throw there was good, he could have had a chance at it, but Kerwin's lead was just too commanding. You combine that with the speed of Kerwin, Delanto never really had a chance at getting him out there.
Always going to be tough to throw at Kerwin, but then with that lead, it's going to be equally. Pitch going to be bobbled at short. Not in time to first, as Guzaldo wasn't able to play it in the air. Had to play it on the bounce, short hop right in front of him. Tried to get it over to first in time, but G. Martino running very well was able to beat it out.
Kind of a surprising decision there from Guzaldo, who maybe could have made the throw over to third. At that point, in a bad position, you are never going to get Gimartino out at first. I would have preferred to throw over to third, try to nab Kerwin when he's not expecting it.
Now to the plate is Alex Vasquez. 0 for 3 on the day, and here's the situation we talked about to open this game. Runners on base and in scoring position. For Auburn, you have to take advantage here, especially with only a 1-run lead. First pitch to Vasquez is going to be upstairs for ball number 1.
The difference between a 1-run lead and a 2-run lead is huge when it comes to just taking sacrifice flies out of the play, sacrifice bunts when the Americans come back up in the top of the 9th.
Monumental pitch swung on and missed right there from Vasquez. Count now 1-1.
Just a bit too aggressive on that swing. You don't need to end the game here. Just get the ball in play. Obviously, don't let it be a double play, but you don't need to kill it. You don't need to mush it. It doesn't need to be a home run.
Count now 1-1. Swung on and missed. Huge pitch for Chaya. Count now 1-2. You talked about it. It does not have to be the hero right now. You put something in play, opposed to a double play. You're able to score a run, pitch fouled off, staying alive as Vasquez.
Walks aren't sexy. Fly balls aren't sexy, but they get the job done.
Absolutely. A fly ball to a medium to deep length would bring in Tommy Kerwin trying to tag, and with his speed, tough to try and get him. Ball hits to the back spot. Catcher is able to get it. Dive back to home, not in time. Hey, how about pass balls? Those would be sexy for Auburn. As that ball got to the backstop and Tommy Kerwin wasn't hesitating, went home. 5-3 ball game here for Auburn.
That might be the best trip around the bases we've seen from a single Auburn Doubledays player this season. Kerwin using his legs to beat out the run to first base, then getting the steal at second, taking third with his legs, and now taking home with his speed. Brilliant display from Kerwin.
That pitch is going to be a ball. Count now full 3-2. That wild pitch is the insurance run we were talking about, but still looking for more. Runner in scoring position as G. Martino moved to second. 3-2 pitch fouled off to stay alive.
What that did was it moved G. Martino into scoring position. That's big because, again, now you just need one of your next 2 guys to get a single. All you need is a single. Don't need a double. Don't need anything crazy. A single likely scores another run for Auburn, as opposed to they would have needed even more than that if G. Martino was still stuck at first.
Martino's going to stay at second as Vasquez is going to take ball number 4 to put himself at first. G. Martino's at second. Sam Myers at the plate.
Niagara Falls coaching duo opting not to have a chat with Chia, let him sort out the issues on his own.
Runners on first and second as Sam Meyer is at the plate. Pitch is going to be hit in the air and out of play for strike number one. Joe Chaya had been cruising along. Auburn has been able to get to him a little bit here in the bottom of the eighth. That pitch is going to bend in there for a strike to Sam Meyer. That's going to be strike number two. Count now 0-2 to Meyer.
Wouldn't hit a double steal attempt for the Auburn Doubledays right here.
0-2 is going to be checked. No, he did not go. So that's going to be ball number one. Count now 1-2 to Meyer.
Delanto wanted the field umpire to maybe take another look at it, but since he was over between second and third and not between first and third, didn't have a great angle to see if he got all the way around.
That one's going to be outside. Delanto trying to frame that one. Not able to get the call. Count 2-2. Counts 2-2, scores 5-3 here in the bottom of the eighth. Only one out. Pitch high and outside. Count now full 3-2. Great job here by Sam Meyer working himself back in this count. Originally was down 0-2. Worked 3 consecutive balls here for a full count.
If you're Chaya, you have to at least put it close to the strike zone. You can't just give away balls.
Pitch is behind him for ball number 4.
Meyer was not happy about that one, but he'll be happy with the free base that he gets to take. That'll load the bases.
He'll take first base. That ball behind him. So the runners were obviously advancing anyway because of the walk. That's going to bring up Bobby Hardy to the plate. As we see a meeting on the mound. Again, only one out here in the bottom of the eighth. Bases loaded. Bobby Hardy to the plate. We'll see if Joe Chaya is going to remain in this ball game. There is some action in the bullpen over there for Niagara Falls, as Chaya will remain in the game. Going to face Bobby Hardy, who's at the plate. He reached because of a hit-by pitch back in the 5th inning, and that's the only time. Actually, excuse me. Also reached in the 3rd inning because of an error made by the third baseman on a throwing attempt. Comes to the plate with the bases loaded. Pitch gets away from the pitcher. Throw back home, toss home, not in time. Michael G. Martino comes into home safely. The second time a pitch has reached the backstop here, scoring a run for the Auburn Doubledays. They now lead 6-3.
It was a bold decision by the Niagara Falls coaching duo of Paul Wolf and Coco Cordero to not take out Chia, because if you look at it, what was a 2-run lead was still an easily winnable game for the Niagara Americans. But now you let another run score. You still have 2 runners in scoring position with just 1 out on the board. There's a big difference between a 2-run ball game and a 5-run ball game.
Huge. Runners on second and third right now. Still only 1 out. Infield's drawn in for Niagara Falls, trying to get the lead runner that would be coming home. That pitch was swung on and missed for a strike. Count now 1-1 to Bobby Hardy. 2 have been plated this inning because of wild pitches. 1-1 fouled off. Count now 1-2.
Hardy really wanted to jump on that pitch. He was waiting exactly for that. Just wasn't able to make the correct contact. Hit it with the wrong part of the bat there.
Pitch 1-2 is outside for ball number 2. If you're the Americans, you got to be feeling like this game is kind of slipping away from you. The 2 runs scored via wild pitch as the 2-2 pitch is going to bend in there on the outside part of the plate for strike number 3 to get Bobby Hardy looking for strike 3 and out number 2, a big out for Joe Chaya in this inning.
If you're Auburn, though, you can't get complacent against this Niagara team. We saw it yesterday. 5 runs scored in the 9th inning. Can't let that happen again because obviously now 5 runs would give Niagara the lead.
100% as Tyler Vivacqua, the top of the order, comes to the plate. Pitch in the dirt, ball 1. Vivacqua's reached base twice via a walk and a single in this game. He's been the pitcher the last 2 innings as well, working out of some trouble, trying to give himself, if he comes back for the top of the 9th, a little more breathing room. Pitch high and outside, ball number 2. I do see action or some movement down there in the bullpen. I don't know if they're throwing, so maybe this is Vivacqua's game to close.
Austin Droge getting some reps in the bullpen.
2-0 pitch in there for strike number 1. It's going to be Vasquez at third, Sam Meyer at second, Vivacqua in the box. Chaya on the mound, 2-1 outside, count now 3-1, hitters count.
Walk loads the bases, puts Josh Thompson up. Gia does not want to see that.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier from here. Josh Thompson on deck, Adam Sullivan in the hole. 3-1 pitch outside, ball 4.
Not even close.
Bases are loaded for the Doubledays. For Josh Thompson is looking to see if we're going to see any meeting on the mound. Does not look that way. It's going to be Joe Chaya trying to get out of this. I don't even see any movement anymore in the bullpen for Niagara Falls, so it does look like this is Chaya's game right here. Will the Doubledays take advantage and break it open? Thompson, he's reached base twice. A single in the 3rd and a walk in the 5th. Comes to the plate, bases loaded. First pitch, swung on and missed.
If you're Chaya, it needs to happen here. You can't give Sullivan a chance with this many runners on base.
Sullivan, who's on deck, is 2 for 4 with an RBI single in this ball game. Doesn't get easier. Josh Thompson's second pitch going to be fouled out of play. Count now quickly, 0-2 to Thompson. Doubledays have responded to 1 put up on the scoreboard from Niagara Falls in the top half of the inning, with 2 of their own in the bottom half of the inning to make it a 3-run lead. Pitch is going to be called on the outside part of the plate, and this is the second at-bat where Thompson does not agree with the home plate umpire on a strike 3 call. As he's going to go down looking here. Bases loaded for the Doubledays, but the Doubledays plate 2 bring their lead back up to 3. This is going to be Tyler Vivacqua's game to close here in the 9th. We'll be back with the finish right after this. Back at Falcon Park as Tyler Vavakwa comes back to the mound looking to close the show on the Niagara Falls Americans. Up 3, entering the 9th after a 2-run bottom of the 8th from the offense. Vavakwa is on the mound to face Tommy Mathay, who's 1 for 1 with 2 walks. First pitch to Mathay is in there for strike number 1.
Mathay entered this game without a hit and has certainly stepped up this game.
Second pitch fouled off over near the dugout of the Americans. Quickly 0-2 for Vavakwa. What's been trouble the last 3 innings is Doubledays pitchers have walked the leadoff man for the Americans. Vavakwa trying to buck the trend here, up 0-2 in the count to Mathay. The pitch just inside for ball number 1. Looked like Vavakwa was kind of walking off the mound thinking he had strike 3. Home plate umpire said, no, you have ball 1.
This umpire certainly seems to favor the outside part of the plate more. Pitchers, at least.
Either way, Vavakwa ahead in the count. 1-2. The pitch fouled off left side. We'll do it again.
Kind of a weak chop there, but able to get that ball to fly. Mathay.
Vavakwa on the mound. Gets the sign from G. Martino. Readies the 1-2 high. Good grab by G. Martino. Count 2-2.
Just caught it in the tips of that glove.
Vavakwa had a few pitches, having an 0-2 count to play with. Now 2-2. Deals high. Count now 3-2. I talked about the leadoff walks in the innings. Vavakwa was in a good spot, 0-2, but they has worked himself back into this count. Now full. Vavakwa has to make a very good pitch here.
Vavakwa's patient. It needs to be a strike pitch.
Pitch on the ground, over to short. Vasquez going to field it cleanly, in time to first to get Mathay running down hard and quick to first, but the throw and catch is in time for the first out of the inning.
Big get there for the Doubledays. That first step to leaving this game with a win.
Carmen Panaro, coming to the plate. His first pitch he sees is on the outside part of the plate for strike number 1. Ryan mentioned it just last at bat. Both pitchers seemingly getting more calls on the outside part of the plate. That's the case there.
Panaro should make a deal with Panera. That has to get the NIL boosters going.
100%. I mean, that seems like just served up on a silver platter, that potential deal.
Checks cash themselves.
Showing bunt. Going to pull it back. Pitch was high for a ball.
Really weird decision to show bunt there. Might be some mind games being played with Vavakwa. Although Panaro has shown that he can lay down some pretty sweet bunts this game.
Yeah, laid down a great sack bunt in the top of the 7th. Pitch outside part of the plate for strike number 2. You wonder if he was showing bunt there because Josh Thompson is playing deep at third base. Maybe thinks he could beat it out if he gets a bunt down the third base side. Of course, his sack bunt went down the first base side. Maybe he can push it down the third base side, but with 2 strikes, he's not bunting here. Pitch high for ball number 2.
Another one, Vavakwa thought he had him, just barely missed the strike zone.
Not trying to get back to another full count. Was in a full count in the previous at bat against Mathay. Trying to get out of here against Panaro. Pitch swung on and missed for a strikeout for Vavakwa. And out number 2 here in the top of the 9th.
A big punch out there from Vavakwa, making Panaro look like a golfer on that massive swing and just hitting absolutely nothing.
Now the top of the order is up. Gismondi is in the game here, pinch hitting for Grant Moore. First pitch he sees is going to be a called strike.
I can guarantee you, Vivakwa very happy that Grant Moore isn't up to bat for the Americans. Gismondi pinch hitting for Moore. Moore's a dangerous platter.
Swung and a miss by Gismondi as Doubledays are one strike away here from beating the Americans, not only at home, but last night also beating them on the road back-to-back would be huge. After starting the season 6-0 were the Americans. The 0-2 pitch from Vivakwa swung on and fouled away as Gismondi will stay alive here in this ball game.
We've seen Niagara do a lot of their damage this game with 2 outs on the board, though. Can't get complacent if you're Auburn.
Vivakwa readies and deals the 0-2 pitch high for ball number 1. Last night, the Americans put up 5 runs. They entered the bottom of the 9th at their home, down 11-0, put up 5, entered this game in the 9th, down. And they will remain down as that'll be strike number 3 from Vivakwa as he will end the game here against the Niagara Falls Americans, securing a 6-3 win for the Auburn Doubledays in a game that went back and forth, a close game. Not a blowout like last night, but a game that gives you confidence for this Auburn Doubledays team. As they prove, hey, this was a team, the Niagara Falls Americans won 6 straight before they played Auburn last night, now losing 2 consecutive to Auburn. Ryan, what do you take away from this game and this win? It was much closer than last night. It really felt like a team win tonight.
It really did, and I think it shows that this Auburn team can really overcome adversity. We saw the Doubledays leave double-digit runners on base this game, and they fought through it. They still put together 6 runs despite a really slow start early on. We saw starting pitcher Hunter Lefkis end the game with a bad taste in his mouth, giving up those 2 runs in his last inning of work, yet despite Auburn falling behind there in the 5th inning, they still stayed strong, didn't get down, and continued to fight till the very end.
Great job by Auburn. You put it perfectly. It was a back-and-forth game where Auburn, had a 4-2 lead, runners on base, multiple innings where it felt like, hey, the Americans could come through and either tie this game or take the lead. Auburn would not allow that to happen. Big-time win for Auburn. What do you want to see take away from this game, and you want to see more in the future games?
I'd love to see the consistent pitching from top to bottom continue into their upcoming stretch of games. There's a bit of a break next week, but before that, there's a doubleheader on Sunday. Can the pitching stay solid? We saw Lefkis put together a great outing on the mound as a starter. Elko, solid relief, not fantastic, but then Tyler Vivakwa, all the credit to him for this game, man, because what he did was ridiculous, excelling at the plate, on the mound. He was great in every aspect.
Before we get to the break next week, tomorrow, the Auburn Doubledays will be on the road against who else but their friends in Newark, the Pilots, as they'll be on the road. Game starts at 6:30, and then, hey, we mentioned it, Sunday, they're back home here at Falcon Park for a doubleheader against the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. First pitch at 4. Make sure you come out to Falcon Park or tune in here on the YouTube channel to watch both of those games. What a fun night at the ballpark.